A big hello and welcome to the latest edition of Mancunia TV, live from Mancunia Arts Centre, Manchester's first, foremost and proper rock and roll TV channel. Tonight, as always, we've got a great lineup for you. I'm Dave Sweetmore. I'm going to be talking you through the night. We've got live music a little bit later on from the brilliant Haciendas and Malonas. We're going to be talking to boxing legend Anthony Crolla, one of Manchester's main man from back in the day and still at it now. Leo B Stanley is with us, and a great friend of the show, motivational speaker Jack Nolan is going to be on as well. Plus, as always, the legend that is MC Tunes is knocking about as well. Of course, we're not here alone. We have got a brilliant studio audience with us. And we're going to be here throughout the night. And if you're thinking, I won't mind being involved with that in that studio audience, we'll be telling you a little bit later on how you can be here next time as well. But to start the show, one of Manchester's most talked about bands at the moment, Mancunia TV, the latest episode from here at Mancunia Arts Centre. This is Loft Heads.
Thank you. Song's called Don't Watch the News. The news round here, it comes on with a bang and on a mass of beer. I'm fearful for this country, I dread it all the time. We never see a story that doesn't involve crime. It's such a fix to cause a commotion, overdressed propaganda promotion. It's all a fix as you turn on tonight. 6 PM show, what do we really need to know? Attention, attention, listen please. What's the latest outbreak? What's the new disease? Attention, attention, listen clear. Stick to our advice, don't go out and live in fear. It's only ever boring, don't watch the news round here. Built-in generation, so it's on in the background. You think that you're not listening cause you haven't heard a sound. The subliminal messages are going round and round. It's only ever depression and hurt that I have found. If I have been a problem since you put down your last book and transferred to the phone that's smart enough to chat your look. And now that you are feeling different ways you never should, you turn on the TV to see another clever hook. Attention, attention, listen please. What's the latest outbreak? What's the new disease? Attention, attention, listen clear. Stick to our advice, don't go out and live in fear. It's only ever boring, don't watch the news round here. Yes, people, we are Loft Heads. Bunch of heads in a loft to cause a commotion, overdressed propaganda promotion. It's all a fix as you turn on tonight. 6 PM show, what do we really need to know? It's only ever boring, don't watch the news round here. It's only ever boring, don't watch the news round here. Fuck the news! This next song's called The Gram. The Grizzly Gram. Street is a path where no one tends to meet. It's got keys and trees and all kinds of ease, and the smell wafts through from the toilet seat. I walked inside to hear that sound. The smoke machine hits the failing ground. I went up to the ceiling to rise above. I felt the need for air to shake off the sawdust. for the gram. And they say we are the people. We're having a laugh. We don't need the photographs for the gram. For the gram. For the gram. For that naughty, naughty, naughty little gram. Thanks for having us.
A massive thank you to the Loft Heads. Let's hear it. What a brilliant way to start the latest edition of Mancunia TV, live from Mancunia Arts Centre. We've got more live music in a bit from Malonas and the Haciendas. And of course, as always, we've got Leon the Pig Farmer here with a great poet from Blackpool, Nathan Parker. Now, though, it's time to introduce a guest who's been a friend of the show for a long time. He's an absolute boxing and Mancunian legend. Studio audience, let's hear it for the one and only Anthony Crolla.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So we've not seen you since before the pandemic, so it's a few years.
I genuinely thought it was only a few months ago, but like we say, everyone's lost a few years.
I think everyone's like forgot a couple of years.
I started driving to the old building before.
I know where we used to be.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm glad you realised. You would have been pretty quiet there, really. But you know, so since we last seen you, you've had your last fight. Your last fight were November 2019 at the arena. You won, like you'd expect, really. Pretty amazing career, really. 45 fights, which includes 35 wins, 3 draws, and, you know, then you retire.
Yeah, the time was right to stop getting punched in the head. I was getting punched in the head for a long time, but boxing is one of those sports. I think you stay in it too long. To be fair, I probably shouldn't have had the last fight, but
you won
stay in it. Yeah, I couldn't have boxed anyway. I reckon I could drink another 10 of them and probably box better tonight. But listen, whatever, it's in the past. But I think that, you know, you stay in boxing too long, it can be a horrible, dangerous sport, and I'm already a little bit stupid, so I don't want to be completely, I've lost my marbles, and that's what happens, unfortunately, in boxing. I've seen it with people close to me.
Had your retirement been coming for a while, or were it quite a snap decision?
No, it has been coming for a while, to be honest. I think it takes its toll on you. Listen, I believe all jobs are tough, so I'm not going to sit here and say boxing is the hardest job in the world, but, you know, mentally it's draining, and it has effects on the family and stuff like that. So I knew the time was coming. I'll be honest, when he agreed to the last fight, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people in the room have been a B4. I just landed in a B4, and then 4 or 5 days later, there's no drugs involved, genuinely, it was just drink, but I was in the airport, and I always say that airport and that Burger King, it's like the Burger King of death, isn't it? There's corpses, and it sort of dawned on me, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? Why have you agreed to this? And, yeah, I felt like some of the people in Burger King. So, yeah, it was...
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, 3 years on, you're still looking well, you know what I mean? You're sound and all that. So 3 years nearly since you're pretty much retired. How did you go on during the pandemic? What did you do to keep busy and keep active and keep mentally stable, really?
I'll be honest, I was probably one of the luckier ones in the sense that the first sort of lockdown, it was a bit crazy for everyone, wasn't it? And then once you allowed gyms to open again because it was a profession, it was like I could get out a little bit, and then was involved in big fights, you know, helping out as a coach over in America and stuff like that. I remember one of the fights, it was like literally we had to stay in an hotel for 7 days, couldn't step out of the hotel, and being honest, I'd give up boxing then, so it just turned into a huge piss-up for 7 days, to be honest. But
bit of a reoccurring theme.
I used to be an athlete, but yeah. No, so it wasn't too bad, but it was tough for a lot of people. Other than losing the gym in the pandemic through like an arson attack, the arson attack wasn't on me or the gym, it was on the building. It was very suspicious, really, to be honest. And then just after we come out of the pandemic, sort of almost losing another, it looked like I don't think I'll be getting insured on the gym again. It looked like I was doing insurance jobs, but thankfully, all good now, coaching fighters, and really enjoying it. Obviously, a bit of a pundit, do a bit of TV work, a bit of media work. Yeah, enjoying it.
So you just mentioned there, you know, you've had a couple of gyms, you've had a bit of bad luck with them, really, as well, with one thing and another. Tell us where you're up to with the gyms, what's going on with them. And
where I'm at now, we was at Morton Mill. I think most people know it's on Newton Heath Fields, if obviously they've seen the big fire that burnt down. And then we moved us a professional club called Avros. It's on the lovely Limeside estate. I don't know how many of you know that. So yeah, it's no, but listen, I love Limeside estate. It's like Very shameless. Very, very shameless.
Real people, though, innit?
Yeah, real people. Some people you think they can't be real, but yeah, some real people. But it's a great place for a boxing gym. You know, without trying to sound like I say we put a lot of classes on for the kids in the community, and it's nice to see. And some of them now they've come in the gym with that attitude, and now they're competing. They're just different kids now. So boxing's very good like that.
You know, since we started Mancunia TV, or MMTV as it was back in the day, one of my favourite things of doing it is we've had a lot of boxers on and, you know, people at low levels, high levels like yourself, and it really, really does change people's lives, and that's something that I probably wasn't aware of before we started doing this, you know what I mean? And it's a massive thing for people, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think with boxing, listen, I can't sit here and pretend, it saved me from a life of crime, because I wasn't spoiled. I was far from spoiled. I believe, you know, you have it reasonably tough, but mum and dad give me absolutely everything they could. But there is in boxing, it does save so many from a life of crime.
I was going to say that for many people, it does change their lives,
yeah,
doesn't it?
it does, and it gives them a bit of a belonging to a club. And not everyone's going to be a professional boxer, but just being that, just like your football teams, your rugby teams, it gives them a bit of togetherness. And let's be honest, and I know it through the estate, not everyone has that family life at home, so that is the family in a way. So yeah, that boxing, I can't speak highly enough of it.
Onto yourself, a couple of other projects you've been involved with. You've got a management company started now, MCR Roller, Manchester Crolla.
Yes.
I like how you've done that. Very clever, that, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, your management company.
No, so what it is the management company, I look after the fighters management, but to be honest, I just prefer the coaching side of it. All the paperwork and stuff like that, it sends me crazy. I have to get it done for me, if I'm honest. But I just try and look out for fights. People don't realise at a lower level in boxing, there's very little money. Yeah. So I just try to, you know, look after the fighters the best I possibly can. I give them the best advice I can. And that's it, really. I think the plan was always just to stay with the kids, the amateur boxing. Then as a favour, I trained one fighter. Now I've ended up with 6 professional fighters. And there's probably more coming, but yeah, I must be mental, but...
Being on that side of it, is it totally different to what you thought it was from when you were at, you know, the peak of your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I said the other night, it was a lot easier when I got punched in the head for a living. It was a lot easier, so yeah.
Another thing you're doing is you're heavily involved with training youngsters. You've got the Fox Amateur Boxing Club going, you know. That must be good, seeing kids coming through and looking up to you from, you know, the amazing career you had.
No, thank you. It is, for me, I got the boxing gym originally for my old amateur club because there was going to be left without a home. So I got it for them, and I seen what, Jimmy Lewis, God bless, he's mid-80s. You don't tell him his age. I think he's 85, 86, but he looks great. And I saw the years he gave, and I thought, I can't have him at that age not having a gym. So we got somewhere sorted, and that was it. So it was, for me, it's just sort of seeing young kids. Not every kid who walks through a gym is going to be a world champion or is even going to compete, but certain kids have different tasks. It might be just to sort of lose weight, just a bit of confidence, and you see that in them. And listen, some kids' world title might be sort of coming out in himself and meeting a few mates, something like that. As cheesy as that sounds, but that's what it is, and I believe boxing is very good at doing that.
Since the pandemic, do you feel boxing's changed at all, whether that be on an amateur level or a professional level?
I probably do a little bit, but I think it was always coming. I don't know if that was down to the pandemic. I believe boxing has become a little bit more like WWE, in a way. I think we all know now, I think social media is such a big thing. And when I was younger, when I was a lad, it was only just coming on the scene, but now sort of almost every fighter's got to be on social media. You've got to build a profile, and it's just like the boys here tonight, and the girls, if there's any, but, you know, with bands, you've got to put yourself out there.
Are you glad you started at a time where social media perhaps wasn't as, you know, relevant?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I get the tiniest... I hardly get any stick on social media, or I did. I think the most I got was the other week for saying the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight will not be happening December the 3rd. You know, don't be so stupid. I think that's the most stick I got, and I was right for once. But... I think I see it on people who know who get a lot of stick on social media. It's sad, isn't it?
It's not good for anyone's mental health, is it?
It's not. Obviously, we talk about mental health. It's such a big thing, and do you know, now I think on social media, there can be people hiding behind a screen who are just hammering people to affect their mental health. And it's sad. It's sad, like, do you know, it's the same sometimes. There's a difference between saying the truth and just saying something's that fucking nasty. Do you know what I mean? And some people do that, unfortunately.
So, you know, you're doing well, you're looking great, you're in good spirits, you're doing the management thing. No, I'm not flirting.
I don't mind.
No, you know, you're doing well, you've got the management, you've got the coaching, you know, you're you're such an inspiration to so many people. What about you yourself going forward? What's the future plans for Anthony Crolla?
The future, do you know, I do like to see a little bits of TV, and there's more of that coming up now, so I enjoy that. Pretend I don't know what I'm on about, getting paid for that. But no, I do enjoy it because I think that fills a void. I think when anyone loves a job and you step away from something that's been a big part of your life, whatever that may be, when you're still allowed to be involved in it, but without the sacrifices, and I'm not just talking about the beer, but you know, like the diet and everything like that, that helps an awful lot. So I get more involved in that. We have a few of the schools now in the gym. We have schools in the gym every day now, you know, around the area. And no, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that. Like yesterday, we have a kids in who are like probably severely on the spectrum, and it's not to be taken in the wrong way. They're an absolute buzz. They're just a laugh. Do you know what I mean? Like just out some of mine. And then tomorrow we've got the kids who risk of exclusion. It's a bit more challenging like that. But no, I just stuff like that really. To be honest, boxing's been a huge part of my life, and it always will be. Whether I'm mad for doing that or not, I don't know. And then. Yeah, probably.
You know, you're definitely not mad for doing it. At the end of the day, you had an amazing career, and it would have been easy for you to finish that career and just go on holiday for the rest of your life, kind of thing. And you've not done. You've carried on doing it. You've carried on in the game. You know, whether that be as management, a coach.
Of course, it's always good to give back in whatever you do, isn't it?
Most of all, the motivation and inspiration you give so many young people, boxers, non-boxers, people generally, is amazing, and that's why everyone loves you. But Anthony Crolla.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for having us, honestly.
So a massive thank you to Anthony Crolla for joining us at Mancunia TV today. Top man, great friend of the show. And we wish him all the best for the future, yeah? Absolute pleasure to have him with us again. We mention a lot on this programme about motivation and inspirational speakers and stuff like that. Our next guest is someone else who's been on Mancunia TV and MMTV over the years. He's a massive, massive motivator. He's a motivational speaker. He's about to release his third book. Studio audience, will you please welcome a great friend of Mancunia TV, Jack Nolan. Now, not only is Jack a great motivational speaker and a great motivator and a great author, he's also probably the best dressed person we've ever had on Mancunia TV. Looking well in dapper hair, mate, I tell you. Feel well scruffy, me. But no, it's great to see you, mate, and you're looking great. And, you know, since we last saw you, it's really, really good to have us back. We saw you last before the pandemic. How did you go on through the pandemic? What did you get up to?
There we go. Hey, we're in the room. So, yeah, the challenges of the pandemic was very hard for me. You know, I'll be honest with you, I suffer with bipolar. So for me, getting up and losing my routine was massive. You know, like, I'm just self-motivate yourself to just get up and do the basic things like, you know, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, getting in the shower. My mum will, you know, probably tell you loads about me, about the way I just come down in my dressing gown and I'm supposed to be the motivator. You know what I'm saying? There's a big shift there.
For those that perhaps didn't see you last time you were on Mancunia TV, or MMTV as it was then, tell us about yourself. Who is Jack Nolan? Where have you come from? And how have you ended up being this great motivator?
Well, I come from New Moston, which is a little place in Manchester, which you all know of.
Lovely little village.
Lovely little place. And I've just, like, literally, you know, I've come from adversity, and from adversity to adversity, I've built and developed the character that I have today, you know, about, you know, really focusing on what you want in life. And my journey sort of started for me when I was 15. I was around all these creative people like Karen Woods. Not sure if you know Karen Woods, you know, author of 20-odd books. She's doing amazing at the minute, and as always. And she really inspired me. Like, I know for some people, they have boxing, they have the gym, they have all these different outlets. But for me, as a kid, I never really fit in with that kind of crowd. So for me, being creative was something that I had passion for. I was obsessed with films, I was obsessed with acting and storytelling, and that's how I really got caught onto this creative stuff, and knowing from seeing Karen Woods at the top of her game that I too could follow that path. It was like these boxers and who have started out in the gym and they're looking up to Anthony Crolla, amazing guy. And I know, top interview just then, I can't really top that, what he's just said. But honestly, mate, like, knowing when you see role models at the top of their game and you're just a no mark, it really does inspire me personally at that time in my life when I was just a kid.
First of all, let me tell you definitely weren't a no mark, but the one thing I am interested in is how do you go from being involved, you know, not being involved, but enjoying creativity and other people's work to thinking, I could do that myself and I want to share it with people. What was that moment?
That moment for me was when I started writing this book on the job. I'm not trying to plug it, but it's there.
Just so happens that he has a copy with us, available in all good bookshops.
Brilliant. But yeah, like, that moment for me really shined when I just started putting pen to paper, started taking risks, asking for a bit of feedback here and there. But most importantly, I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. And you might say, oh, why would you do that? Because I think a lot of people get a lot of stick when they've got a goal. And people say, oh, well, you're not going to do that. And that negative remark for some people can motivate them or it can hold them back. And for me, I didn't know at that time what that response was going to be. So I thought, I'll do it first and let my work speak for me.
I don't think that's an unusual thing, that when perhaps you find something that, you know, you want to do at first people. I remember as a professional DJ, when I first started DJ, people, lads from school, like, what are you doing that for? You know what I mean? And
yeah.
So I totally get where you're coming from. So during the pandemic, you obviously, that must have knocked you a little bit. It knocked absolutely everybody. How did you get over that? And when did you decide to get back at it, doing your motivating?
Well, I got asked to speak on a lot of podcasts, and I was like, right, okay, we'll give it a go. Started speaking on podcasts, and then I got the bug for it again, just like chatting to people, you know, really just sort of enjoying seeing people's responses to the work that I was doing. And then I got the opportunity to like speak on a few, you know, corporate gigs, but through Zoom. And then the penny didn't drop for me. I thought that was it. When the COVID came, I thought, oh my God, like, I've just done a big talk with Camelot, I've just done a big talk with Hewlett-Packard, all these big corporate clients. And I was like, how am I going to get it back again? So in the pandemic, I was really just putting a lot of stuff out on social media. I was putting vlogs out. I was doing live videos. I was annoying everyone on Facebook, giving them that positivity that I needed for me, which I knew other people out there might have needed too.
Well, obviously things did go back to normal. It must have been great for you being back out there and for people that follow your work and are motivated for you to back out. You've brought out 2 books up to now. Jack Nolan, the first book was On the Job. The second book was Dead Ends, and it just so happens, as you're here tonight, you're about to bring a third book out called Dead Ends, Rise Up. Tell us about the new book that's about to be released.
Oh, the new book. I'm not trying to like say how good it is, but I think it's pretty good. We've turned it into a short film. It's gone on to even being a song with the likes of Tom Smith and the Haciendas putting together a soundtrack for the film, which was an amazing experience, working with another fellow great creative.
What's it about? Tell us what the book's about, the new book.
So the book is about gangland Manchester, and there's a foreign threat about to take over Manchester, which happens to be the Albanians Hellbang gang. And they're coming over, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're not getting taxed, they're not getting, you know, the hierarchy, what already exists. They just don't care. They're out to do a lot of bad S-H-I with a capital T out there, mate. So
say what you want here, it's rock and roll telly. Say shit if you want.
Shit.
So you've got that book. When's that book coming out? The new book from Jack Nolan, Dead Ends Rise Up. When's that book available?
We're going to be releasing some exclusive prints at the end of January, and it's still in the motions and conversations with multiple different publishers that we're trying to work our way through for the best way and outcome.
If people want more information on you, Jack Nolan, what you do, what you've done, and of course about the new book as well, where can they find you?
You can find me all over social media, Instagram, you know, Facebook, all the good platforms, LinkedIn. You can get me just Jack Nolan and you type in You Can Become. You'll find me all over the internet. So
you've got the new book comes out in January. Obviously, you're going to be doing a lot of work with that. Like you say, you mentioned the film and the fact that the Haciendas are doing a song for you as well. What happens next? Have you got any future plans as we get more into 2023?
2023 is going to be an exciting year for the Dead Ends and my journey personally, as I've been booked by Camelot Lottery yet again to speak for them, and also to take Dead Ends and the creative journey to that next level. We're working with an amazing backer at the moment called Navi Dean, who's got a company in Failsworth, you know, the Ivy Business Centre. He's just based there. I've been very fortunate enough to be offered a free office, and I've been working there, grafting day in, day out, Monday to Friday, sometimes on a Saturday. Don't tell me, ma'am, about the work with Dead Ends and taking it to that next level for not just me, but for Manchester.
You know what's great after the pandemic? You've got straight back into it, and obviously people do still want to hear what you've got to say and listen to you and, you know, be around you, which is great. Listen, good luck with the book and everything. The brand new book, Dead Ends, Rise Up. It's Jack's third book, comes out in January. You can find him right across the socials and stuff. Thank you so much for joining us on Mancunia TV. Good luck with everything.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Jack. It is Mancunia TV. We're live at Mancunia Arts Centre. It's an absolute pleasure to bring to you our next band. This is Malonas.
This is our debut single. It's called Words From Here. We're just open out of this paper that I'm writing on, but I have to finish this somehow, but I'll forget the song. So please tell me where we're going and what you're trying to do. 'Cause I don't know what is going on between me and you. Enjoy it now, you know, young forever. From this point nothing is getting better. It only gets worse from me. It only gets worse from me. Enjoy it now, you know, young and come back and never. It only gets worse from it. It only gets worse from it. Memories from time ago, all they slowly fade away. You won't know until they're gone. You won't remember the day when of the scene, didn't know what was going on, couldn't tell what day it was. Enjoy it now, you know, young forever. From this point nothing is getting better. It only gets worse from it. It only gets worse from it. Enjoy it now, you know, young forever. All your memories fade and come back never. It only gets worse from it. It only gets worse from it. Every day's the same when you never felt no pain. When all these unseen thoughts went through, but now they mean something. La da da dee da da. La da dee da, la da dee da, la da da dee da da. La da dee da. Enjoy it now, you know, young forever. Come on now, son, don't think you're clever. It only gets worse from it. I said it only gets worse from it. Enjoy it now, you know, young forever. From this point nothing is getting better. It only gets worse from it. It only gets worse from it. So enjoy it now, you know, young forever. All your memories fade and come back and never. It only gets worse from it. It only gets worse from it. Nice one. This one's called Amsterdam. Your house is made of glass, I can see it. in Amsterdam.
Thank you very much.
Nice one, lads. Maloners. So it's another great night here at Mancunia Arts Centre for Mancunia TV. And don't forget, even though you're probably watching this on the Friday night, the night it goes out, we actually record here at Mancunia Arts Centre in the heart of Manchester the last Wednesday of every month. So if you do want to be in the studio audience, all you need to do is make sure you're following Mancunia TV and Mancunia Arts Centre across the socials, and you'll find out more information. But we'd love to see you here. 7 o'clock, the last Wednesday of every month, is when we're here recording Mancunia TV. Come down, join us, meet all our guests, and have a proper top night with us. It's now time for one of the regular features that we do on the show. Leon the Pig Farmer, he's got a guest with him today who I've known for quite a while. I've done a few gigs with him myself. He's a top man, and you're going to love him. But to tell us more about that, will you please make some noise for the one and only Leon the Pig Farmer?
How are we doing?
Good, mate, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Good to see you.
Am I coming through?
You're always coming through, you.
Fucking don't need one of these. Yeah, anyone that don't know me, around the back, I'm Leon the Pig Farmer. Manchester's cream cut of pork, premium beef, whatever you want to call it, spoken word. I bring a guest down every month. This time it's going to be Nathan Parker. He's the Blackpool Bard. He's going to tell you all about Northern culture and everything else for 10 minutes. Before that, I'm going to give you something from one of my 2 books. They have my name on them. My English teacher can fuck off because I can write, although they said I had no attention span when I was in school in the 80s. That's the old system. This one's about getting out the system, and it's called The Beast. The beast has fled the flaming forest, its eyes ablaze from a life so torrid, no options but to smash the glass, raise alarms from a painful past, caught in a trap without limbs tied, a golden padlock suppressed the cries, a poisoned dart can't stop this rage, and I've got no fear from the Tory cancerous cage. The hostile haven, I've seen it all before, looking for scapegoats, a route from the door, no macropod to purging poison courts, no evolution or lessons learned. They skulk and hide in their bed of bracken. They're not capable of letting justice happen. Search the soul more than a cheap frisk. They want to chase this game. They better assess the risk. Because sanctuary's sought in a dusty plain. It's a desperate desert for the crying game. The balance of power will shift to prey, so stand the ground to avert and remain. There are no shark's fins to raise alarms. No hyenas' laughs to praise or charm. When surprise fails, there's going to be a chase. It's agility versus power on this undulating course. You see, I head to the hills in survival migration. I cower in a cage of ethical hibernation. They've escaped their cauldron by skin of teeth with no remorse or guilt. How do they sleep? See, my beast is tame in a harness of hay. Its only roar is to their hunter's bait. My chameleon's colours will never correspond to the fiery furnace where they belong. You see, shapeshifters lingered on my stairs. They crawl the walls. Now I don't care. Techno fills my darkened room. Now I dance to my own tune. There's a silent disco in my head, and it thumps and pumps in my dank rank bed. But a sugar-coated little dancer has flipped me over to a new beat master. The story, there was 28 little ones lying in a bed, roll over, the demon said, and I stamped my foot and I cleared the clouds, there's no more dreams and I'm dressed in shrouds. Doctor and the medics, they suggested more. I said, I ain't no pill-popping pharmacy whore. And I want to alight the prescription train. Board one soulful, avoid the rain. I cut and paste all my signs, I juggle the jingles in my mind. I've changed the reel to suit the suitor. I'm going to bring it all back to a brand new juncture. So I'll show you the circle with a cross. A 4-track single that explains my loss. I was a grounding mantra on side B, but on side A, they can smell the sleeve. A melancholy tune to hide the tears. I've beat the fun drum to please the peers. I've now sold anthems belonging to me, and I will reclaim my identity. So restart this heart with about 120. Staying alive, because in life there's plenty. Come press this chest and feel the beat. I'm that red post box in Manchester on Corporation Street. People have tried to bomb, shoot, mortar, spit at me. I will never, ever admit defeat. I'm the pig farmer, thank you. My guest for tonight, who's going to give you 10 minutes of proper, punchy spoken word. Let me give you my guest. This is Nathan Parker, the Blackpool Bard.
Nice one. How we doing, Manchester? This one's called Working Class. Don't dismiss or pity me because I'm working class. Because we both have to work, me and our lass. Because my granddad drank in boozers that were supplied by Bass. You know, we just get things done without unnecessary sass. Hey, if it was up to me, I'd smash straight through that ceiling of glass. Our nation, nah. The world built by people of our stature, yet our collective efforts and achievements seem reluctantly captured. Instead, the upper echelons of our so-called civilized society would rather fracture our commonalities, our resilience, our love and our rapture. Graffiti art, the rag and bone cart on our sleeves. We wear our heart with 100% effort given to everything, no matter our part. Terraced houses made of Accrington brick. Key workers galore making our country tick. Tough times and struggles just trying to make ends click. Whilst the cabinet releases another loaded statement made by the next pompous prick. I take objection to any surprise that we might be intelligent. Because what? We went to schools that, let's just say, aren't the most elegant. Or because in the more simple things we find a cause to become celebrant. Maybe it's because to the elite, our lives and our wisdom just ain't that fucking relevant. Promenade stalls, the overalls, the rise and falls of our emotional walls. We might have moved on from meat and 2 veg. Or our car might have the latest reg. But we're bound by an age-old working class pledge to take care of our own, especially those close to the edge. Lower paid jobs having to work twice as hard, from positions of power exclusively barred, dancing with the devil of debt and his credit card. Before some of us are born, our fate is sealed, our brush is tarred. As kids, we'd be equals and play in the park until the lights came on and the cobble streets had turned dark before the innocence of childhood. And having a lark was replaced by being told where, when, and at who we should bark. Tired frowns, hand-me-downs, the immersion's off, getting to your dressing gowns. Workers' rights and union action. Our comparative wages are only a fraction. So escaping to the weekend is a recurring reaction. Because making memories in those carefree moments just provides us with so much more traction. Beans on toast, not likely to boast, a ritual Sunday roast. Working class people, the people I love the most. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers to Leon for having me on. I'm Nathan Parker, or you can get me on the socials at Parker Words. I'm from Blackpool, but I spend a lot of time in Manchester, so I feel like I've been adopted, so thank you very much. Nice one for the intro, Dave. I found spoken word not long after Leon, actually. Our paths crossed, and we've kind of not been able to shake each other off since, so some things are meant to be, I guess. This one's called I Reckon Right, because I've got loads to say about a lot of things. You'll get to find that out. Because I reckon that everybody should get to go to the theatre at least once to see a play. The weekend should last just one more day. The supermarkets shouldn't throw so much food away. Gig tickets should be sold at their face value price. I wish I didn't spend so much time on my digital device. I reckon Coke should always be served with ice and a slice. Not that kind. And I reckon lads should feel confident going to their mates in their dark moments for advice. I reckon Sky should stop increasing their overinflated bill. Do we really have to rush so much at the Aldi till? I reckon in shops we should be able to buy Fanta still. And I hope the simple things in life continue to thrill. I reckon politicians should have to tell the truth. Is it really too much to ask that over our heads everybody has a roof? And I reckon the media, before printing stories, should actually have some fucking proof. I reckon chocolate bars should stop shrinking. There should be a cure for overthinking, and maybe somewhere an invention that means no hangover after a night of drinking. That'll be the day, eh? I reckon kids shouldn't be going hungry, and nurses should get fair pay. And I wish it wouldn't piss down on a summer's day. And whilst we're at it, can we all agree it's about time the leader of the opposition stood up and had something to fucking say? I reckon avocados should stay ripe for more than an hour. There should be no guilt or regret as delicious food we devour. The temperature, the flush of the toilet shouldn't affect the temperature of your shower. And I reckon I should probably buy my mum more flowers. I will get you a bunch, mum. I reckon the education system should enable teachers to promote happiness and creativity. That's what they signed up for, not to sentence kids to years of exams in captivity. I reckon time should be allowed for relationships, well-being, and other interesting activity. I reckon Game of Thrones should have had a better end. It was fucking shit, weren't it? Still not over it. And we shouldn't hesitate to text a mate, just hit send. You never know, they might just need a listening ear to lend. After all, from time to time, life sends us all a little bit round the bend. I reckon addiction shouldn't be trivialised or criminalised. Instead, there should be option of community support to be medicalised, and the struggles that people live with shouldn't be laughed at. It'd be nice if ironing your kit would withstand the taxi ride. And if people didn't feel the need to go online and be snide, and maybe if we could just have one phone call with a loved one who died. But it doesn't matter what I reckon. It still probably wouldn't work out. The world is a complex place, of that there is no doubt. These days it's hard to maintain perspective, so it's important that we make time to be reflective. If we can, push for change on things we feel passionate about, but always remember to keep one eye on the things that we've got, even if sometimes that feels like now. Thank you. Nice one. Nice one. So, I want to share one more with you. And I've got a lot to be thankful for this poem. I've got a lot to be thankful for. Because before this poem, I was just like filming myself at home with my Zoom uniform on, do you know what I'm saying? Chest up, no pants on. And I put this video out there, and Proper Manchester got hold of it and sent it viral. Got nearly 1 million views, and that lifted me out of Blackpool all across the north and made me meet amazing people like Leon and Dave and loads and loads and loads of creatives that have just, you know, completely changed my life, really. This one's all about being northern. It's called To Be Northern. Let me tell you a story why I'm proud to be from up here. We stand together in times of fear, put the world to rights over a pint of beer. You see, the northern spirit is unique. We greet strangers with a cheer. Our sense of humour is top, and we say things are dead good. You've got to have gravy on everything if you're from our neighbourhood. We do things for folk and don't expect a fee, just maybe a slice of cake and a nice strong cup of tea. And we make the time to ask, how are you doing? And how's your Lee? Rita, Sue and Bob too, talking about local bands that are new, getting to know somebody you've just met in the queue, or chunnering about their life story in the loo. Oasis, the Stone Roses, the Charlatans, and Mega Mate, the Smiths, James, and so many others that are great. Paul Heaton, Ian Curtis, Peter Up, take a bow. And don't forget, we also know how to have a fucking row. Round our way, there's a light that never goes out. Richard Ashcroft, Pulp, the Beatles with Twist and Shout. If you stepped out of line as a kid, your ears would get a clout. Mop it all up with bread and butter if you're ever in doubt. I wear my northern badge with honour. I stand mighty and I stand tall alongside comedy icons like Ken Dodd, Carolina, Hearn, and Cannon and Ball. I say hey up at the start and ta-ra at the end of the call. And I leave my big coat at home even though the temperature might fall. We drink Lucozade if we're ever poorly. We've got towns like Skipton, Kendal, Bury and Chorley, the Lake District, Peak District, the Yorkshire Dales too, scraps from the Chippy and belting pie shops, we've got a few. We've got Jessica Rennis Hill, Anthony Crolla and Marcus Rashford. Connection and good times give us so much more than cash could. We're not flash, just confidently kind round my neck of the wood. We hold doors open and give up chairs as my old man says you should. Our kid could be a brother. It could also be a mate when you're gagging for a drink to end up in any state. We got Northern Soul, which is cool as fuck, dancing on talky floors from Stoke-on-Trent to Blackpool Mecca or through Wigan Casino's doors. We brought the world Vimto. Billy Elliot, Danger Mouse as well. Love Arts, the sweets, not the kind that made you dance your tits off and your eyes proper swell. Kellogg's Cornflakes, Acid House, Marks and Spencer and Beacon Fell. People of our region have gone down in history. The first computer, the football and rugby league and the whole light switch mystery. Arctic Monkeys, the Cribs, Shed 7, a guy called Gerald and them people with One Night in Heaven. Barms, oven bottoms, tea cakes, muffins. For this, we're forever having a poll, but one thing it's not up here is a fucking bread roll. We call our dinner our tea, and that's 5 p.m. on the dot. The terms love, cock, and pet are endearing, certainly sexist, they're not. Now, whether we wear our top button done up as a statement of fashion, or we pack the dance floors at the Hacienda, the Syndicate, Wigan Pier, or Tall Trees with passion, one thing that will always keep our feet firmly on the ground is that most people you meet are usually fucking sound. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's my boy, Nathan Parker. Parker Words. Check him out on Insta, Twitter, and stuff like that. And go and watch him sometime. He puts gigs on in Blackpool all the time. I've been privileged with it. Thank you very much for embracing spoken word. We're bringing it into the 21st century. We are not just punk poets. We are people who've got something to fucking say, and we're going to say it in proper council house English. So keep following it. Go to Spoken Word Night in Manchester or anywhere where you live. We're talking proper. Thank you very much. Over to Dave Sweetmore. Cheers now. I got books.
You are watching Mancunia TV live from Mancunia Arts Centre, Manchester's first, finest and proper rock and roll television. Now, our next guest on the show this month is a man who, to be honest, can only really describe him as a man about town. He seems to have been around forever. Everybody knows him. Today, we finally got our hands on him after a couple of years of trying. Studio audience, we make some noise for the one and only Leo B Stanley. How you doing, mate? You looking well?
Oh, thanks, mate. What an intro that was.
Do you like that? Yeah. Sort us out after you.
I'm nervous actually being with Dave Sweetmore.
You've no need to be nervous, honestly. Don't worry about that. I love your jacket, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, just keeping it real, mate. Yeah.
It blends in with the chair. It's like, you know what I mean? It's proper stuff. It's good to see you. We normally bump into each other at festivals and gigs and stuff and be like, hiya, mate.
Hi, Dave. You all right?
Yeah, so it's good to sit down and have a proper chat with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Grill you.
Yeah.
Let's start back at the beginning. So I've known you, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
But even before that, whenever anyone mentions Leo B Stanley, two words seem to follow it. And them words are always Affleck's Palace. So take us back to the beginning and your connection with Affleck's Palace and how you became the man you are through that amazing building.
Right, okay, well, it's ironic that you say that because I've just come from there now because they're having the 40th year anniversary celebrations tonight. And it was weird walking in there from where it used to be from like 40 years ago. So, cut long story short, the Affleck's Palace in the, I think it was 82, 83, two throwback hippies, James and Elaine Walsh, that came up with this idea to do it. Anyway, opened it up, have a go, start your own business, you know, like it was back in the day. And it developed, the fashions developed with the people in it. And obviously the music scene as well. So
you were there from day one, really, weren't you?
No, a year later, in all fairness. I did 39 years ago, I think I started.
So what were you doing in Affleck's Palace?
At the time, I don't know whether some of you remember or not. Well, I don't know, looking at the age of being there, but my family used to have an Army Navy stores on Piccadilly Station opposite there, which is now the Malmaison. I left that, went to Affleck's Palace and started doing Army surplus, but I dyed it black because the goth scene was getting quite big. You know what I mean? And that's how I moved into there. And then, obviously, you know, just the music developed, the glam, you know, everything. It was just incredible.
Everybody that remembers you from back then talks about the T-shirts and stuff you sold. Now, one of the T-shirts you actually sold was to a great friend of the show, a very good friend of both of ours, who actually wore one of your T-shirts on the front of the magazine. And it just so happens MC Tunes is going to crash, dive in now, crash the show as always. We've got a mic here, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your relationship with
I'll
this
just
man.
stand up.
Yeah.
Sit on his
I'll
knee.
just stand up, Dave. No, it's all right. How you doing, Leo?
I'm good, mate. Nice to see you again.
So this T-shirt,
On the sixth day, God created Manchester. On the sixth day, God created Manchester.
That's the one.
And it was funny because it was just as I got a record deal when I was still skint. And we used to come begging Leo for clothes and shit.
Cost me a bloody fortune.
We got one of his T-shirts, and it was like I was wearing it when which was it, Melody Maker or
A record mirror.
Record Mirror?
of all the
Not
people,
like anybody here will remember that. Fuck off, Nidge.
of all the
He's probably
places,
the only one.
of all the places and all the people you could have gone and got T-shirts from in Manchester and the Northwest, you know what I mean? Everyone was starting to know who you were. What were it about this man that made you go to him for T-shirts?
It was facing Eastern Bloc. So Leo's like old school gangster rhythms, you know what I mean? So when I started hanging out at Eastern Bloc, which was like the alternative to spinning, because spinning was for DJs who could afford records. So we went and hung out at Eastern Bloc, and Leo was basically probably the second shop open that did well. And because he was like, fucking the best T-shirt, the coolest fuck, was that you?
No, that was in Spiral Carpets. That was in
Well, you
Spiral
remember
Carpets.
these Spiral Carpets? That was
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
other big T-shirt, right?
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
But on the sixth day God created Manchester, that was like...
And that
bit
was
iconic.
that you that came up with that?
Oh, God.
Here's one I made
Let me
earlier.
hold the bottom. Right, here we go.
Leo B Stanley's thinking, what the fuck have I come to?
Well, what Anson's done is in...
It's upside down, that, mate.
Try and
So-
turn it the right way up.
Absolute retard. Oh, Jesus. Anton, you're tearing it to pieces. So if everybody looks at the bottom, Anton, like every other Scottish person I know, has just injected himself into Mancunian history. Whatever. Great that. But
Yeah, so when I came up with the T-shirt, the story behind that is that I was going down to London a lot, and I was bringing up Techniques T-shirts and Soul to Soul, and the Soul to Soul stuff was flying out. And a girl that worked for me called Tina Street, we were in the Hacienda one night. It was hot, and we'd been on the gear and everything. We were sat outside, and
he means the cocaine, not the heroin. Right. Just so we're all clear.
It was actually
Right.
ecstasy.
Yeah, it means something different in the hood.
Yeah, well, let's go for ecstasy then. Anyway, we sat on this curb, tripping out, and she said to me, you need to come up with a T-shirt that represents Manchester. Because at this time, Smiths was happening. It was all starting to bubble like that. And I remember, I drove home off my head. God, thinking about it now is ridiculous. And I don't know if there's a shot of Catholic guilt or something, but I just thought I had this old file of facts, and I was just writing things through it, and I just clocked the Bible on the bookshelf. Because you're a Catholic, you've got to have one of them. And I just wrote it. I don't know where it come from, divine inspiration. I just put, on the sixth day, God created man. And then little as I put Chester. So what I used to do with T-shirt ideas is I used to write them up on a big sheet of paper. And I used to get all the staff together, and I used to roll it up and go and look at their instant reaction, because it had to like that. And I remember rolling it up, look at them like that, and they all just went, fucking hell. That's the one.
That's the one.
Anyway, 148,000 shirts later, and
Absolute
still selling
banger.
today.
It was a banger.
So at the time,
It's such an iconic statement, though, isn't it?
It
well,
is.
and then at the time when it started to, I remember it was on a Friday. I went to the printers, and I said, "Can you run me some of these off?" I'm screen printing back in the day. Then I said, "I can only do 50." Anyway, got there to the shop on the Saturday morning, put one on the mannequin like that. I went to get something, do something, come back. I come back about 90 minutes later. They'd all gone. All 50 had gone, and like people coming in, scrambling for them, and it was just absolutely mental. Anyway, I had one left, and I saw him. I said, "Tunes here." I said, "What publicity are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I'm Record Mirror." I said, "Yeah, I put this on for us, mate." Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Have you still got it?
Fuck. I've
That's
had
a no.
It was
still
an
got a T-shirt
eBay.
from 30
Sold.
years ago.
It was
Dave.
an extra small then.
No, what? No, actually, if you see the fit, right, you need to cut this in, editor, Nidge. It's absolutely 3 sizes too big for me. At the time, it would be small on
Yeah.
me now, but it was massive on
And
me
then
then.
when 808 State, Darren wore it. Yeah. He wore that on the... yeah, he did. He wore that
He was
on
always
the,
copying me, Darren.
Yeah. No, it was... listen, I've just been to Affleck's now and I've seen the mosaic and people are still writing to me from all over the world, which is a story. So when it was actually going mental and the press run it and Manchester started and it was the centre of the universe, there was... used to get mail for like that. And there's one, right, it said... the 6-day T-shirt shop, Manchester, England, and it actually got to me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But there was like one of the guy from the House of Lords. There was 2 research scientists in the South Antarctic that saw it and asked me to send them to. I mean, it was just crazy. But the most amazing thing that happened once was like, we got there one Saturday morning. This was like July 88 when Manchester was peaking, like punk and everything. It only lasted 12 months. Don't let anybody tell you it went on forever. It didn't. Because then, as like everything else, it went downhill. And I remember getting there on Saturday morning. There's this queue of people down the arcade like that. And I'm thinking, well, what's going on like that? Anyway, they come in, right? We opened the door. They all followed us in, right? So, and of course, we were partying hard. And it was like, oh, fuck, just open the door, let them in. Stuff like that. And they couldn't speak a word of the Queen's, right? There was like 20 of them had got on a plane from Amsterdam, flew over, right? And they wanted the flares, they wanted the 6-day T-shirt, and everything's like that. And I think at the time, I mean, I'm obviously talking like 30-odd years ago, I remember we cleared half the shop out in 3 hours. And we was like, fucking hell, what's going on here? So I said, what are we going to do about stock? I said, oh, fuck that, let's have an E.
Well, let me just...
Let
me just tell you, right, Leo's selling himself short. So when I met Leo, he had the best mustache. What was it? Mustache. Mustache. One of them. Oh,
Super
man.
Mario.
Super Mario. Did you fuck? You look like, what's it called? Charlie Chan. He was that long. He was down here. But he used to DJ a place called a Venue. Now, as much as I loved the Hacienda, I hated the Hacienda. So the Venue. How long was I coming in there week in and week out for about 4 years? Without fail?
Easy.
Absolute one of the best DJs I've ever heard in my life.
Bless you.
And he was playing hip-hop, Public Enemy.
ZZ Top.
Yeah. And
Smiths.
with the indie that was about at the day. You know what I mean? But... yeah, so that
sounds like he was an influence to you as an artist as well.
Well, of course. He's a man with class. Men with class.
I think what it was is because we couldn't compete with the Hacienda with the house thing, I just thought to myself, well, because at one time, the Venue was the place where you used to go when you got knocked back from the Hacienda. But in 6 months, that changed.
He's not even lying.
That changed. We had our own queue. And what I used to do was, because I'd got history, stuff like that, I would literally play Public Enemy, then the Happy Mondays, and then a house track and stuff like that, and mix it all up like that. And because we didn't know where to go because the Hacienda and the house music was just everywhere. And it worked, though.
So before we talk more about your DJ career, which we're going to go on to in a minute.
Right, I'm going to go. I'm sweating me back out.
Lovely to
Thank
see
God
you.
for that. See you later.
MC Tunes. No doubt we'll see him later on in the show as well. Yeah. We're going to talk about your DJ career in a minute. We could talk to you for hours and hours, but without a doubt. So when did the Affleck's Palace come to a stop for you then?
Well, it peaked in 88, 89, and then, like everything else, like the whole of the city, and it was drug-related, or the gangs moved and anything like that. It just, like, the early 90s was horrible.
When did you decide to leave your store?
I was still there in about 2000.
Is that late? I didn't realise you were there that late.
Yeah, it was on and off. I mean, the peak had gone, and I was doing other things, but, and then I sold it on. But it was really refreshing to go tonight and see another generation in there,
So moving on to the next chapter of your life, obviously your DJ career, you're still at it now, still doing festivals and pubs and parties and
Following
stuff
Dave Sweetbo, my hero.
I know, I don't know about that, yeah. You've been
Still
out
waiting for a
longer than
guest
me.
spot,
You're
by
my
the way.
hero.
Yeah.
No, seriously though, joking aside, you've continued doing that. You're still as busy as ever, you're still as popular as ever. You're doing, you do private functions, you do pubs, bars.
I'm working every
festivals.
weekend now till February 23.
It's good, that, isn't it?
Well, you know what? Again, Dave, I run with it as well because I was very blessed to be involved with the early Smith stuff and Breaking Happy Mondays in the Venue. Stuff like when, Morrissey walked into Affleck's over this story. Right? So Morrissey walked in, not knowing who he was at the time. We'd heard about the Smiths and everything. And listen, he was a geek. I love him to bits now, he's a geek. And this guy walked in and he had some T-shirts on this arm and a single like that. And his manager, Joe Moss, used to make jeans, who used to buy. So this guy come in and he stood there for ages like, are you all right, mate? Can I help you? Joe said, can you sell these T-shirts? And will you play this record tomorrow night? So, and I've lost it, I haven't got it. And it was Charming Man, white label. And I went, yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, no problem. And he went, I'm going, fucking that's just this, you know. Anyway, obviously, when somebody said, well, that was Morrison, like, what? You know. Anyway, I was just, I used to do Friday and Saturday night, big student night, come in like that, and I had it like that, and I just put it on, and bang.
So you were one of the first people to ever hear this Charming Man. When you first put it on, what were your initial thoughts when you heard it?
I just, you know, like years ago, we used to have things where you could play repeat. I just kept putting it on and on again like that. I'd get home, and I'd put it on while I was having a wash to get out to go and play it again, and I thought, this is just fucking incredible, you know. And of course, the next day was history, you know.
Why do you think the old Manchester thing is still popular now? Both me and you pretty much live off the back of it in a lot of ways.
Well,
why do you think it's still as popular now as, you know, as it's ever been?
Well, my night, do a bit of a plug here. I do a night called Back in the Day, and the tagline is mature tunes from a mature generation. And I play everything from the Stone Roses to the Supremes, and I play everything in between, which tends to be like golden indie stuff like that. And when I started the night, I was aiming it for people of a certain age, you know, too old to go out to town and stuff like that. So I put these gigs on, they're like, start at 7:30, finish at 11:30, the people go home in bed. If they'd done a bit of whatever like that, they had a week to recover, you know, so we did it once a month. And the average age was about 50 plus, but now it's getting younger and younger and younger. And I've got kids coming up to me saying, have you got any Four Tops? Can you play this B-side of the Happy Mondays? And I'm going, wow, yeah, of course, great.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And also with the 80s nights being big as well like that. So on the 80s nights, when I do 80s, obviously doing one, but I'll throw in the Smiths, I'll throw in the Mondays, and, you know, the Lars and all them classics from the time. So as an old man still DJing and say, why is it still working? All I can say is them tunes are just classics. That's not giving away to any young bands having a go this day, which I totally admire, because it's got to be a dedication, because it's not like the old days, like the Smiths, where you'd get a record deal, you're on top of the pops, and, you know, your life's it. And I just admire them for keep doing it, because it must be hard trying to earn a living.
It's great. It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So people watching this, if they've not been to any of your legendary, iconic back in the day nights, where can people find out more about these nights and where you play?
Well, a lot of them private dues, but a lot of the public dues. Listen, I'm on Facebook, Leo B Stanley. They're on there whenever I'm doing them.
So we've spoke about, we've literally gone through your whole life story now. What does the future hold for Leo B Stanley?
Well, at 67, I'm hoping waking up every morning, you know.
Hey, you're looking good for it though, isn't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's, no, listen, I said to somebody the other day, they were saying, when are you going to give up this DJing? And I've told you how busy I am with it like that. And I've got 3 things, and obviously my wife's okay with it, because I'm on my 3rd marriage. The second one is when people stop booking me, which is just not happening. And the third one is on a Saturday night, when I have to get up off the couch and go, do you know what, I can't be arsed doing this. That's when I'm packing in. That's never happening. So just keep doing it and keep booking
so
it.
Just keep on keeping on, really.
Yeah, that's it, and evolving with it. But what I'm finding is because I'm playing a lot of the old tunes, I don't have to evolve with my music. I'm getting new crowd all the time. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? We've been doing Mancunia TV and MMTV for a good few years now. You're such a massive and integral part of this whole scene that we're involved with. It's great to find
Bless you, thank you.
Leo B Stanley.
Dave Sweetmore.
Thank you. So what another amazing episode of Mancunia TV it has been from here at Mancunia Arts Centre. Just want to remind you once again that we do record this show the last Wednesday of every month. So if you want to come along, just follow us across the socials, get here for around about 7 o'clock and join in, because I'm sure the studio audience will agree. It's a proper top night, yeah? A massive thank you to all of our guests who've been on the show tonight. Anthony Crolla, Leon the Pig Farmer, and Nathan Parker. How amazing was he? Loft Heads, Malonas, Jack Nolan, and of course, the one and only Leo B Stanley. On behalf of all the team at Mancunia TV, thank you from Anton, Georgina, MC Tunes, Kieran, Nidge at Trust the Fox, absolutely everybody. Thank you for your support, and don't forget Mancunia TV and Mancunia Arts Centre. Make sure you share everything right across the socials, yeah? To finish off, though, this episode of Mancunia TV, a band who you'll be no strangers with whatsoever. I didn't actually realise, but the first ever ever live performance was on Mancunia TV. They've gone from strength to strength. You're just about to start a tour, I believe.
Yeah, we're going on tour in October for our debut EP.
You're going to be playing in Manchester?
Yeah, we're going to finish the tour off in Manchester. We're going to Leeds, Liverpool, Nottingham, Sheffield.
It's been quite a journey you've been on. I've seen you at loads and loads of gigs, including the likes of Kendall Calling and stuff like that. You've had a good time, really, since you first started here.
Yeah, like you say, from where we started then to where we are now, a lot's happened, and it's, yeah.
And I think that's just proof of what a great thing that Mancunia TV and stuff like this Arts Centre is, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the birth of us, really, and then to see where we've come on 2 years from now, it's been...
You've got an EP about to come out as well?
Yeah, the EP's out next week, 7th October. We've had 3 singles out of it already, which have all had record of the week on Excess Manchester, so the support we've had from the city's been mega already, yeah.
It's brilliant to see you back here, and me and you speak regularly. It's amazing to see how well you're doing and how far it's come, and long may the journey continue. Before we get the Haciendas to play us out, a massive thank you as well, of course, to our studio audience. The last Wednesday of the month, we are going to be back here at October filming the next edition, so do join us if you can. It is a brilliant, brilliant night. But to finish this episode of Mancunia TV from the Mancunia Arts Centre, let's hear it, studio audience. Thank you for watching. This is the Haciendas.
Thank you, Mancunia TV. Great show tonight, great crowd. This next one's called Passion Fever. Chapter